All right. Would you rather find a roach in your bed or a mouse in your kitchen? I knew this one was going to get you.
I don't like it.
This is a tough one. You got to really think about it.
I know.
We've had this scenario before.
I know. We've had roaches before.
We've never had mice in the kitchen, but I have had slugs in the kitchen. And those were nice little boys.
Okay, so I think whenever you say this, people are like, thinking of like big slugs. These were like an inch long.
Yeah, but still.
They were very small.
Still not, like in the list of things that you would ask people, do you want this in your kitchen? Slugs is not really on there.
No.
I was fine because I barely ever used that kitchen. I was in college. Do you want me to tell you my reasoning and then you can go, or do you want to go first?
I think I'm going with the evil that you know.
Yeah, it's got to be.
So I guess I have to pick the roaches.
It has to be roach. It's one roach. It has to be roach in your bed. Because you take the sheets off, you see the roach, you get rid of the roach.
Yeah.
If a mouse is in your kitchen, bro, you never know.
Set out the roach traps. We've done that before and they work.
Well, I think.
But I just don't like either.
I think you're overanalyzing because you're thinking one roach in my bed means there's a ton of roaches in the house. That's not the case. This is a hypothetical situation. There's one roach in your bed and there's one mouse in your kitchen. Which one would be worse?
But if it's in the bed, it's on me.
But that's the thing. You got to take that into account. Because if it's in the bed, there is a chance that you also are in the bed. And it is there with you.
Maybe I'm going to pick the mouse.
Okay. I went back and forth on this one. Because in my head, it's like, okay, the roach is in my bed, which we've had a roach in our bed before.
Yeah, but not when we were in it.
And it was dead.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
We found it dead.
This is a live roach. He could be skittering all over the place.
You're making me upset.
No need to be upset. It's a hypothetical. There's no roach in our bed. I promise you, babe, I sweep the bed every night because we've had issues in the past. We've found some critters in the bed before.
The apartment that we used to live in had an infestation.
Yes.
Of the German cockroaches.
Yeah, and luckily
those were bad.
Luckily, never in our bedroom.
Yeah,
but
was
they
in
were
the
in our kitchen all the time.
And I was always afraid.
Well,
that they would migrate.
They never did.
No.
I'm just saying, like, based on my personality and my attention to sweeping the bed because of the chaos that arises when you have to deal with a bug, we could deal with a roach in the bed. A mouse in the kitchen is like, that's a whole new ballgame. Yeah. They're skittering around. We could never see that dude. He could just be chilling in the pantry, chomping on the bread. And then I wake up, I'm like, did you eat the bread? No, I didn't eat the bread. And then
the mouse.
Right. And then you got to deal with, I'm not a huge fan of the exterminator and like the killing of the mouse. Now, if it was a rat,
you gotta
cut that bad boy off. That's disease. But if it's just a mouse in there.
Yeah, mice are okay with me, actually.
I don't love killing that. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel bad about that.
I would like to have just a little trap where it gets cheese and a cup falls on it and then you just scoochie it outside.
I don't really think they make those. I think we're talking, it's going to be humane, but like murder.
I don't want to murder a mouse.
So then you got to go roach. To me, the roach is the lowest of the low of things on this earth. That like in our day-to-day lives that we come in contact. I hate a roach.
I hate them.
However,
I hate them.
I could approach the roach easier than I could the mouse.
Yeah.
Because with that hatred in my heart, I would not rest until the roach was eradicated.
Yeah. You do a good job protecting me from bugs. That's one of our like things as a couple, like one of our non-negotiables.
Yes.
Is I do the dishes, you do the bugs.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I hate it. I don't love bugs
doing
either.
The dishes.
No, but like, I think I am down to do the bug removal. That's my lot in life forever.
Yes.
Because my level of hatred doesn't even come close to your level of like,
I have like
shut down.
I have
like you have a full-on
attacks.
phobia.
Yes, I do.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Like I will do that, but I don't love getting the bugs.
Yeah.
Like if I had my choice, I would just be like, nah, I'm not dealing with this.
I can kill them.
Yes.
If I'm home alone, whether it's with the spray or with a shoe. Like can kill a bug.
Yes.
And then I kind of block off the area and check on it every 5 minutes to make sure it's still there dead until you get home.
That's true.
Because I can't touch it.
What's so funny is you leave a trail of destruction in your wake. Like the energy is off in the house when I come home. And you have dealt with a bug. I know. Like there's something so psychic about it. I walk in the house, I'm like, she's had to battle a bug. Because like there's shoes strewn everywhere. There's like a trail of bug spray. You are not economical with the bug spray. You will drown the thing in bug spray.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Listen, bug spray doesn't work like it used to.
It doesn't, because I think the chemicals that were in the bug spray were also killing humans. So I'm sure that they've had to change.
Kill the bug, then crack a window.
Okay. Not everybody wants to drink in those fumes that you're using to kill the bugs.
We don't have to use them often, so
luckily here we're a lot better. Like we haven't had many bug issues. Like the front area gets some bugs because it's right next to like a bush and some trees. Yeah. But like in our bedroom, never.
No.
Down here in the kitchen, never.
No. There was one time we had one upstairs in the bathroom.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's part of life. We live in the American South, dude.
Yeah, but our bathrooms are on the 3rd floor.
They get in the pipes. They crawl in the pipes and they come up.
Can we talk about something else?
Nope. We live in the American South.
Yes, we do.
Part of that.
Are you trying to just get me to move to Montana?
Yes. There you go. You know where you don't have bugs? The frozen tundra, the North.
You know where I got chased by a horsefly? Montana.
Were you inside or outside?
Outside.
I rest my case. No, I know that there are bugs. I feel like you just kind of have to deal with that as a human. Like there are creatures that go bump in the night that are going to get in your house sometimes, and you just got to deal with it. Yeah. We had frogs in our house one time.
We did. That was a great story.
Goodness gracious. We were in grad school.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that was just the
comedy.
Yes, the absolute like 1940s comedy-esque.
It honestly like was out of a sitcom.
Like the Benny Hill music was playing as we're running around trying to catch this frog. And then once we finally caught it,
because it was a little frog. It was like that big.
So we were flipping couches over.
No. There was a little frog. Somebody was leaving. The little frog jumped in. You were in the bathroom. I'm like, I've got this. It's still right by the door.
I remember this completely different then.
I'm stomping behind it to get it to jump towards the door. I open the door. It jumps out. A bigger frog jumps inside. That was happened. The comedy.
And then we lost
that. The small frog got out, and then a bigger frog immediately jumped inside.
But we lost the bigger frog.
It got lost. And so then we flipped over both couches. We put the chairs up on the dining room table.
When I tell you it was as if like a flood was coming and we were just putting furniture on top of surfaces.
And at this point, it was like after midnight.
Oh, yeah.
We almost went to bed.
One time. We almost got it, and then we lost it again.
Yeah.
And then I didn't find it until like 30, 45 minutes later. Yeah. It was in the bathroom. It was
in the bathroom, behind the toilet.
Dude.
Up on the wall.
Oh, I had given up.
Yeah,
I
was like, about to go to bed.
Dude, we're just dealing with it tonight. And then I went to go to the bathroom, and there it was. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Dude. And then we got it out of there, and we just left all the furniture and went to sleep. We're like, we'll deal with this tomorrow.
We're too tired. You had to get up early the next day. I'll take care of it.
That was the worst of the unwanted creatures in our house.
Yeah, because it was like an ugly frog. It was like one of the ones with frog? It was like a slimy looking one with like warts.
I like frogs. Frogs are cool.
Some frogs are okay.
I like frogs. We watch frog reels all the time on Instagram.
And there's some really cute little
That's ones. What I'm saying. I don't have issues with frogs, but it was the fact that it was really late at night. We didn't know where the damn frog was. I knew you were going to be a nightmare to deal with.
I wouldn't have slept. I would have just been awake all night.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, okay, we got to get the frog out of the house. But like we had looked everywhere, and it wasn't a big apartment. Like it
was our first ever apartment.
And then truly a stroke of luck.
Yeah.
That I'm about to go to the bathroom, and there's the bastard. He's just sitting there on the wall. I'm like, I got you.
Well, and we just got him under a Tupperware and like shoved him outside.
Yeah. And we finally got him out of there. But that was chaos.
It was chaotic.
Well, that's Florida, man.
Yeah.
Florida is just miserable with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and then there was a wasp in the house that one time.
Oh my God.
And you sprayed so much wasp spray in our house trying to kill that thing and just like missed it. Like I don't know if you've ever used wasp spray before, but it's got like very powerful. It's got a stream.
It's a stream. Yeah, it's not a mist.
Because you want to be far away from the wasp, obviously, when you're trying to kill it. So you can shoot that thing like 15, 20 feet.
Yes.
So you were just in the living room, through into the den, and you're just like sniping the wasp.
Yeah.
And you missed every single time.
But I got it enough that it was
bring
maimed,
it down. Yes.
And it like kind of halfway spiraled down to the ground. And then I think you got the Swiffer as like a mallet. And
I beat the living hell out of that thing.
And that was it got behind one of the couches, so we had to pull the couch off of the wall.
Just true chaos. They always find a way to get into the worst spot possible.
They do.
It's like...
Well, the reason that I kept missing it was because it was up behind... It was in the blinds.
Yeah. My thing is like, dude, I don't want you in here. You don't want to be in here.
Right. Like,
work with me.
Right.
I've opened the window for you to get out, but you will not. Like, you just fly into every...
Follow the light. Follow the sky.
Absolutely
Get
miserable.
out.
I think wasps and roaches are like top tier of just, why are they on Earth? Let's eradicate them. Surely they don't have a purpose. Surely we would not throw the ecosystem into
because the
chaos.
Bees will pollinate our
I don't have
flowers.
a problem with bees. Bees I'm cool with.
We don't need the wasps.
I would kill every wasp on this earth.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. I hate them.
Yeah.
Speaking of gross things.
Now I feel like bugs are everywhere.
There's no bugs anywhere. Relax. I will do a sweep of the bed before we go to bed tonight. But speaking of gross things.
Okay.
Have you heard that apparently some bodybuilders are eating dog food to get their protein?
No, they're not. Why?
I don't know if this is real or not, but I've seen
There's no way.
I've seen a couple Instagram reels
dumb.
and like one or two news articles talking about protein, like bodybuilders eating protein, dog food for protein.
There are so many ways to get protein.
First and foremost, don't do that.
Don't eat dog food.
I don't even think we need to say that because I don't think it's real. I think it's a meme.
Okay. Like maybe one guy did it as a joke.
Sure. I've eaten dog food before.
Why?
I ate one little kernel of it because I'm morbidly curious. You don't ever look at dog food and be like, I really wonder.
Have you smelled dog food?
Well, I'll tell you what, it tasted terrible.
It's not up to code for humans.
Well, yeah, that's the main thing that I wanted to say.
It's not regulated like human food is.
You got to think about how overzealous the FDA is in a lot of cases. They don't have any oversight on dog food because it's a dog.
Listen, my sister just got a dog and she was telling me, so she and my mom went to the pet store to get like a stuff for the dog. And there was like a Chewy toy and it was like an all natural, like, you know.
Yep. I know where you're going with this.
And they read the ingredients, which never read the ingredients on dog food. Beef penis.
Of course.
And then they're like, we can't buy that.
Why? The dog would love that.
So they kept looking and they found one that was beef esophagus and that was more palatable to them. And so that's what they got.
Let me peel the curtain back for you.
Don't eat dog food.
No. The dog food, like the bad stuff, not bad, but like the
cheap stuff.
The cheap stuff that normal human beings can buy that don't live in Beverly Hills and are buying like steak tartare for their poodle. Don't get me started on that. That's the stupidest thing ever. Or the vegan people, the people that believe their dogs are vegan.
Don't need to be vegan.
Guys, if you're a human and you're a vegan, I got nothing but love for you. Your animal is not a vegan.
No.
I mean,
unless your animal's a guinea pig, in which case it is vegan.
Okay, sure.
But your
the natural
dog and your
tendency,
cat are
dogs
not vegan.
come from wolves, brother.
I agree with you completely.
Cats come from lions. They're not vegan. You can't. You are being cruel to your animal by forcing them to eat a vegan diet.
I do kind of feel
that
way.
is animal cruelty, like 100%.
Yeah.
Feed them what they're naturally supposed to be fed.
Right.
Okay, anyway, tangent aside, I don't even remember where I was going with
the
this.
cheap dog food that normal people buy.
Cheap dog food is just all the stuff that
it's like
humans...
refuse.
Yes, it's like hot dogs.
From human food production.
Yeah, it's stuff that humans don't want to think about that we're eating, which we are, because we don't know what's going on in the factories.
Right.
Like... Upton Sinclair would have us believe that everything's fine now, but no, it's bad in there.
But yeah, it's like stuff that can't go into normal food, like the good,
beef penis, esophagus,
it either
brain.
gets ground up and becomes like McDonald's chicken nuggets, or it becomes dog food.
Dude, I saw the funniest reel. Somebody was just eating a McDonald's McNugget and was like, "I don't care if this is made out of donkey dick, I'm still eating it." It was so
it probably
funny.
is.
My thing is like, this is an interesting question. Does it really matter what the content is if it still tastes good? You know what I mean? Like, I'm of the belief, I'm a doomer. So I think like 20, 30 years from now, we're all going to be eating bugs because that's going to be the plentiful resource on the earth, right?
Yeah.
But I think that they'll be able to like mush it up into a paste, like the Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell's in that, but people are eating it because it tastes good.
Right. And you're not seeing how the sausage, quote unquote, is made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? They did
I understand that.
huge expose about the pink slurry in McDonald's meat. Did that harm McDonald's even the slightest? No, because it tastes good.
Right.
It's chemically built to taste good.
Yeah.
So people will still eat it. So does the ingredient really matter?
I don't know. I think that's interesting. Well, and I mean, I think especially in the States, we tend to eat a lot of just like cuts of like muscle
as
our meat.
Yeah.
But throughout the world, people eat other organs. They eat kidney, liver, brain, heart, lung, like any organ. We just don't eat that.
Right. We're culturally, we're not brought up eating that stuff.
Right. But throughout the world, people eat that. And
you can't waste any part of the animal.
Right. And there's ways to make it tasty, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm trying to think what the grossest thing. I've had chicken feet. That's terrible.
Cartilage.
I had one bite of that and I was like...
But you're a very picky eater, so
true.
I don't
know. If the chicken feet people out there are like, yeah, I love chicken feet, more power to you.
Yeah.
But like, that was gross.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I
think in England, don't people eat tripe a lot, which is stomach?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. In Cayman, it's like oxtail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oxtail's good. It's not like, I wouldn't put oxtail in the same category as like chicken feet or
but like my point is
cow's brain.
Human people eat plenty of things that we might consider not good food and like, send it to the dog food factory.
But I don't think like, if you're not raised in that environment, I don't think,
it
surely
might be a little
you
hard
could
to
teach
adapt.
yourself to do it.
Yeah.
But like, if I sat a thing of cow's brains in front of you,
I would have a difficult time.
Dude, I would go hungry.
But if you did it up nice where it didn't look like brain, I would eat it and probably wouldn't know.
Yes.
And then you would tell me afterwards, that was cow brain, by the way. It's like, oh, well, it turns out I love cow brain.
Well, honestly, like we eat so many more bugs than we know about because like just in general processing of food, in this country, surely there are bugs that just get in the vat and they mix it all in.
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never know about that.
I heard, and I don't know how true, I haven't fact checked this, but it must be true that like you can have a certain number of like bug legs per square inch of a chocolate bar.
Oh, absolutely.
Without it being like considered contaminated.
Absolutely. Yes.
Otherwise you'd never.
You would regulate food to the point where it would be so expensive because the processing would be so so expensive that food prices would just skyrocket.
Right.
At a certain point, you have to understand that within the social contract of someone making food for you and you consuming it, it's not going to be 100% good.
Right.
Right.
Well, and then I think that's why certain like dietary like labels on food are so important. Like the kosher labels or the halal labels.
But do you really think those are real?
Yes.
I'm super skeptical. I think that they're just slapping that stuff on there and nobody's really checking.
I think it depends on the label. There are a lot of different, like for example, different kosher certifications. There are, and some I think are more regulated. I mean, I'm not Jewish, so I don't really know.
Right.
But I know there are some. We used to live in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people have a certification that they trust. And they'll only buy, like, for example, OU kosher.
Dude.
And they won't buy things that have other kosher labels.
Okay, cool. But again, who is checking that?
Rabbis.
No chance. They're going to the factories and wow.
Yes.
Good for them.
That's how something becomes kosher. It has to be.
Wow.
Yeah. You remember at our old Publix in that neighborhood, there was a kosher deli?
Yes.
The rabbi's picture was on the wall.
Wow. Of the guy that was like the stamp of
yes.
approval. Holy cow.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But that creates an extra layer of cost for people who buy those halal or kosher certifications. Yes.
Okay. So I think the labels for like religious exemption may be more legit.
Yes.
But like gluten-free,
that's just
organic.
It's like greenwashing for food. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Well, like they'll put a whole grain sticker on a bag of popcorn. Popcorn is a whole grain.
Exactly.
They didn't do anything special to your popcorn to make it gluten-free or whole grain.
That's what I mean.
That's
it's like,
just popcorn.
It's not real.
Right.
But it's such like marketing brilliance because people will like eat that stuff up and be like, I'm healthy.
Like popcorn, fat free. Yeah.
Duh. It's how it is in its natural state.
Like you didn't slather it in fake butter.
Right.
Of course it's fat free. It's
oh
popcorn.
My gosh. Okay. I'm so skeptical, but like that's one of those things where I'm never going to have the opportunity to know my food from make to table.
I'm not going to research it enough.
And also I'm not a farmer. Yeah. I'm not going to like more power to you if you want to build your own garden.
I wish I could do that.
And get your own chickens and eggs. That's awesome. And I see all these people doing that. I'm like, that's really cool.
It is really cool.
I am not one of those people.
Yeah.
Through enough self-reflection, I'm not a farmer.
I've tried to grow some different herbs and things.
We just can't do it.
They all die.
We're just not good at it.
I just can't do it.
And maybe if we learned, but like, I am okay with the 20% mystery that comes along with me buying stuff from a grocery store. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I have consented to that.
And I think we try not to buy the ultra processed stuff.
Right.
To a certain extent.
And naturally our diet,
sometimes.
but naturally our diet tends to more whole food stuff. But I'm saying even with that,
there's bugs in vegetables.
There's still the acceptance that what you are consuming may not be 100% what you think you are consuming. That's just the rationality of it.
Yeah.
However, dog food should never be included.
Do not eat dog food.
Because even if the standard is substandard for like humans, or maybe they're just reaching the bare minimum standard, at least there is a standard for human consumption. As far as I know, there is not a standard for dog food.
I don't know enough to say one way or the other, but
I
would be surprised
that there isn't.
I would be surprised.
Because like Iams or whatever, the old...
Yeah, the kibble.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, again, the green wise stuff.
Like, yeah.
But the natural stuff that you're just taking a scoop of dog food and throwing it in there. That
like
stuff,
the little tins of cat food from
it tastes terrible, like as a human. I don't know how these people are doing it. If it's real, I would imagine that they're blending it and like mixing in stuff to like cut the taste of it.
But like there's so many sources of protein.
That's what I'm saying.
You can buy your meat in bulk from, Costco or Sam's to get a better price. You can opt for cheaper cuts like chicken rather than beef.
I don't know what the nutrition facts of dog food is, but I find it hard.
It can't be so high in protein that it's worth it.
That's the thing. Let's logic this out. So the reason that you would try to eat dog food is because your protein amount is so astronomically high that either you can't afford human protein sources or you just can't stomach it. If you can't afford it, I get that, but also like you're probably eating too much protein at that point, I would think, because beans are very cheap. You could get not bad cuts of meat, but not the high end cuts of meat.
Right.
Like chicken thighs and grind them up. Those are way cheaper than like an organic breast.
Ground chicken or ground turkey is going to be cheaper. Even like cottage cheese has really high protein. And if you don't like the texture, you can blend it until it's smooth. Right.
That's the other thing is like if you're blending it already, if you're blending the dog food, you can blend the worst cuts of meat if you don't like the taste of them. So I don't really see the point of
get ground chicken and make chicken burgers. That's so much more tasty than dog food.
There's a guy that is like super famous for like grinding and making chicken smoothies because you just can't eat all the volume of food that you want to eat. So you just grind it and blend it. I mean, surely it's not that bad.
It can't be that good.
I mean, that's the thing is how far are you willing to go?
And there's a reason I'm not a bodybuilder or a gym rat.
I think that's a little beyond honestly, dude. So I try and get one gram per pound of body weight for protein, which some research says that's a lot. So I'm 300 pounds. Right now I'm getting between 250 and 270. So I guess it's not exactly, but like that's a lot of protein.
That's a lot.
But we live in a world where there's protein supplements.
Right.
And it may not be the same level of quality of protein from whole foods, but let's say I get 70% of my protein from whole food sources and then 30% of my protein from supplements. I'm still hitting my protein and I'm pretty sure it's not horrendously bad in terms of the quality of protein. I'm still doing okay. I'm still building muscle, right? Like I just feel like there's so many other things on the list before you go to dog food,
Right.
which is why I think that it's a joke.
Or like somebody did it as a meme.
Right.
Just to like get a lot of views.
But just in case some 18-year-old is trying to put on weight and watching this podcast, don't eat dog food. Just don't do that. Okay? I mean,
that's just so nasty.
That is insane.
Just imagine how bad you would smell.
Dude, it tastes terrible. I had one little bit of it and I had to spit. I didn't swallow it. I put it on my tongue and spit it out. It was that bad. So I cannot imagine.
They don't make it for taste.
Exactly. Anyway, all right.
That is so gross.
It's just so gross. We've had a really gross episode so far.
Yeah, I'm really struggling.
I'm sorry.
I'm having a really hard.
I'm sorry.
I'm having a bad day.
Okay, we're gonna switch gears here. And
usually I like talking to you, but I'm really this
has been your worst podcast so far.
I'm really not having fun here.
Well,
no, I'm having fun.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
Okay, yeah. Can it be something nice?
Well, we're going on to the one big fitness question of the day.
Is it a nice one?
You will have to make that judgment.
Okay.
So the question is, for those who eat out at places that don't provide nutritional values, what's your approach to best estimate your macros for the meal? Like if it's a pasta dish, do you take all the pasta out of the container, weigh it yourself, and maybe add 20% to that weight, for example, or perhaps use a multiplier? I know I can just go off nutritional values from recipes random people upload online, but I don't really trust those because most people who upload nutritional label info can't even get it right when the numbers are right there. Thanks. Okay. This is one of those questions where we're not really going to answer the question. We're going to talk about the macro issue here.
Yeah. Well, to answer the question, I think you could separate you could weigh your pasta.
You could definitely do that.
But is it really that
in my
important?
opinion, if you are so obsessed with the weight and nutritional value that you are bringing a scale to a restaurant, we are trending towards disordered eating patterns. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are a competitive bodybuilder, there is no way that if you are 2 weeks out and you're trying to get stage lean, that you're going to a restaurant anyway. Right. Exactly.
You're doing it wrong.
You need that level of control. So you can go out, but you better bring your meal with you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
And just have fun with your friends.
Temporary.
But eat your own thing.
And you're going to come off of that, ideally in an off-season context, and try and repair your relationship to food.
Yeah. And eat whatever kind of pasta you feel like
because
you want to eat.
Bodybuilding does provide an opportunity to become very hyper fixated on nutrition, which we know can cause some disordered eating patterns. So a healthy bodybuilding model is one in which during competition prep, yes, you are hyper focused. You have a goal to get as lean as possible
for 2 to 3 weeks.
No, I mean, it's going to be a prep is going to be 16 weeks.
Oh, geez.
So that is why it's so important to have a set off-season time when you can try and repair that relationship. And there's going to be a lot more
and
research.
Repair your body.
Yes, that too. But I'm more thinking about the mental side of bodybuilding in this. But there's going to be a lot more research that comes out in the next couple of years that's going to talk about how easy it is to fall into disordered eating patterns with bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. I think especially on the natural side of bodybuilding, like the big black sheep for bodybuilding is PED use. Mm-hmm. But on the natural side of things, the big black sheep is disordered eating. Yeah. Nobody really wants to talk about it, but it is part of the sport. Mm-hmm. And I think ethically for me as a coach, I coach only natural athletes right now because I don't have the experience to coach untested athletes. Mm-hmm. So I try and keep my roster to just tested. But I also think ethically as a coach, you have to discuss these signs of disordered eating patterns. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I am not a medical professional and I cannot diagnose. Mm-hmm. I would never do that. But what I would say is, hey, let's talk a little bit about what your relationship with food is. Mm-hmm. And if I do see those warning patterns, it is my job to then recommend that they see a specialist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and go talk to somebody. Yeah.
Because eating disorders are incredibly dangerous on either side of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Incredibly, incredibly dangerous. Mm-hmm. So I think that you need to start to recognize some of those signs in yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you are a coach, like I'm talking from a coach's perspective, recognize some of those signs in your athletes and start to say, hey, maybe we don't need to intervene with a medical professional right now, but let's start to be a little bit more mindful with how we're eating. And then if it continues, I'm going to recommend that you go see a specialist. Mm-hmm. because
like, I'm concerned about you.
Exactly.
Let's talk to someone about it.
It has always been my opinion that I am doing this coaching thing to provide a better quality of life for people. Now, I do take on bodybuilders, and during bodybuilding prep, you are not going to have a better quality of life than when you're outside of prep. You're just not. It takes a lot to get you stage lean, and it's very difficult, and it is very much a disordered pattern of eating.
Yeah.
But we kind of say for a season, we're going to lean into that. So then outside of that competition prep, it's important to kind of get yourself back to baseline.
Yeah. But if this person is just somebody who's like on a diet, wants to track their macros, if you weigh your food in general, you probably can just estimate whatever you've eaten at the restaurant. You know, like, okay, I eat pasta sometimes. This looks like about a cup of pasta, and just guess. And it's not that important.
Let me pull back the curtain even further. Even if you are meticulously weighing your food out at home,
it's not going to be.
It's not 100% accurate. It is never going to be, because nutrition labels are just estimates of what they think. No one is doing the direct science that is necessary to understand what 1 gram of this product is in terms of calories, which are energy. That is a very intensive process. So they're doing estimates, and they're saying this is probably what 1 serving is in terms of calories. But we are never going to know that. It's, again, you have to kind of accept the social contract of, I'm going to try and track my food, but there's going to be 20% in there that's going to be plus or minus. That's why it's so important to not set a hard and fast, I eat 3,000 calories a day, I eat 250 grams of protein. You have to have a sliding scale. Yeah. Some days are going to be off, up or down.
And that's fine.
That is fine, but it's about taking averages.
Right. It all comes out in the wash.
It is the long form view, which is the best way to look at a body composition change. This is why I always preach time. I always preach give yourself as much time as possible, because in the long form, if you eat 3,500 calories and 2,800 calories, you're going to come down to an average over the week. Right. That's why it's important. Right. I think that you, like you said, you can definitely do this. But
you can.
This is a red flag for me.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
This is a red flag for me in terms of disordered eating patterns. Now, I'm not saying he has an eating disorder. Right. Disordered eating and eating disorder are 2 different things. Like, I have disordered eating patterns. I don't know if I've never been formally diagnosed, but I do have a binge eating tendency.
You certainly do.
Right? I know that about myself, and I try and implement strategies to remove myself from the binge eating. But every now and again, no matter what I do, it feels like I just kind of lose control of myself and I go, right? So I would recommend with anybody, the pursuit of a body composition change is a noble pursuit. I'm not going to say that that's wrong, right? I love that aspect of humans, the ability to change. That's why I'm a coach. But it has to be done with self-awareness. And it has to be done with, why am I pursuing this body composition change? And in my pursuit of this body composition change, am I going to extreme lengths that are going to remove quality of life from me? It's like we talked about a couple weeks ago.
You have to do things in a way that are going to be sustainable.
That's the truth. That's another great thing. And what's awesome about that statement is that most of the time when we look at long-term weight loss, when they have been done in clinical studies, the sustainability aspect has been extremely correlated with the ability to keep the weight off.
Right. I think that's sustainability is where a lot of diets fall apart.
That is the key.
And it sounds like he's so burnt out, like almost the way the question was worded was like, I went out for dinner. Do I have to weigh out my pasta? And it's like, no. Yeah. You don't. You don't have to do that. He almost just sounds tired. Yeah. From the way that it's worded. Maybe I'm reading into that, but
well, I think that there's definitely something to that. Like, there is such a thing as diet fatigue, like we've talked about. But I think the other part about this is it's hard as a person in this guy's friend group or in this person's social circle to see this and not immediately think like,
what's going on here?
This is kind of weird, right? Yeah. I will say that there is a time and a place for honesty, but honesty without compassion is just cruelty. So part of what I've been trying to build in my business and with my relationships is I coach my family, I coach my parents, and trying to understand that there's two sides to this. There is the want to make a change and the want from me as the coach to say, honestly, stop eating. But that is so cruel without the compassion to look at the entire context. So if you're out to dinner with somebody like this, and I don't love telling people to diagnose their friends, but if you see these patterns, it might be time to talk to them about getting a little bit of help. And again, honesty without compassion is cruelty. So don't just be like, what the hell are you doing?
Stop doing that.
Right. Because that can then push us even further into the disordered eating patterns, right?
Yeah.
This is, again, another very complex topic. And this is why we have these long form conversations. And I just also want to say that neither of us are mental health professionals. We're coming at this from personal experience, and I'm coming at this from a coach's experience. So that's a disclaimer for you. But also, if you're in your community and you notice something like this, some people need a little bit of help.
Like, hey, I'm worried about you. You doing okay?
Come to it from a place of compassion. But this right here, if I was out to dinner with this guy and he pulled out a scale, I would want to have a discussion about why he's doing this thing.
Yeah.
And is this causing a lower quality of life outside of your pursuit of a body that you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
You can have fitness goals and physique goals, and you can still have fun on a Saturday night.
Dude, look at me.
You know? Yeah.
Like I am relentlessly pursuing my physique and strength goals. Relentlessly.
You've brought your own food over to a friend's house.
I have done this. And all the time.
And you were in competition prep at the time.
Right.
But you also like had a cookie.
Yeah.
While you were there.
True.
Right?
That's true. And I'm not a bodybuilder, so my nutrition wants and needs are different.
But you were trying to hit weight.
I was trying to hit a certain weight, but I'm not trying to get to a certain level of leanness.
Right.
Right. 240 pounds, which was my weight class, versus
but like you couldn't
4% body fat.
You couldn't go to, we were going to have like mac and cheese and like barbecue brisket. You could not eat that at the time.
Right.
And make weight for your competition.
Right.
Right. So you brought your own dinner, but you had a small amount of dessert.
Yeah.
Right. And so there can be balance if you do need to do some things temporarily that are a bit extreme.
Yeah.
There is still a way to have balance and not get mentally burnt out and try and fight some, potential bad habits from forming.
I think that's the key word is balance there.
Yeah.
And usually when I am out of balance, that's when my binge eating tendencies begin to take over. It's when I have over dieted. It's when I am so deep in a deficit that I will binge on food that I don't even enjoy. I'll sit at the pantry and just eat like 3 slices of bread. And then it'll turn into 4 slices of bread and then 5. And then it's like I've lost control there, right?
Yeah.
So, again, this is a really complex topic, and I'm glad that we had the discussion, but we could talk about this for hours and hours and not hit every piece of nuance. So just, it's a good introduction to this conversation. If you are experiencing some things that may be red flags for you in terms of some disordered eating patterns.
And don't be afraid to talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody. That's what I was going to say.
If you're worried about something or you see yourself going down a certain path, just talk to someone.
Yes.
It can
Registered
be a
dietitians, mental health professionals. These are your people.
It can be a friend who you trust. It can be your mom.
Exactly.
Or it can be your neighbor.
We also need to be very clear that like I said, there's a difference between disordered eating and an eating disorder. So it could be that you are noticing some tendencies in yourself that you don't really like, but are not all the way to
they're
eating
not
disorder.
Yet pathological.
Exactly.
But you're concerned
in
about
that case,
potential.
Discussing something with your mom or a friend that you trust is an incredible resource.
Yeah.
Right. And then from their perspective, they may recommend, hey, this is out of my depth. You're going to need to go talk to somebody who has a little bit more understanding and qualification to actually have these discussions.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing, but it's part of our modern life. We live in a very, figure-centric and body-centric world. And I wrestle with these things as a coach all the time. It's like, I want you to make a change because I want you to be healthier and happier. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, mental health is also very important. So if I'm pushing someone on a diet and I notice some of these things, it's on me to make that change. And it's on every coach. Like, if you're dealing with a coach and you feel like you're being over dieted or you're being pushed in a direction that you don't want to be, you have to communicate with them. Talk to them and tell them, hey, this is really pushing me in a way that I don't want to be. My relationship with food is changing in a way that I don't want it to change. Can we talk about other strategies?
Yeah. And your coach should be willing to have that dialogue with you.
If they're not,
find a different
you got to find a different coach.
Yeah.
100%.
Because you're a team with your coach.
Exactly. And there's something like, a lot of times they do know more than you, but if they are not coming at this problem from a position of empathy and from a position of, okay, let's try a different strategy. If they are so focused on there's only one way to do thing, red flag,
they're wrong.
Find somebody else. Honestly, you have to leave them because they're never going to change their coaching philosophy. If they're so dug in,
and that works for some people.
Oh,
It might not work for you.
That's the other thing, is it may not be insidious.
It's just like you have to find like the right hairdresser who understands how you want your hair.
Exactly.
Or like you have to find the right.
They may not be coming from a place of negativity. This has worked for a bunch of people, and they say, I know what I'm doing. You got to do this. This is the way.
Yes. Like,
this doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work for me. Okay.
Get on out of there. And they should understand that.
It's like you have to find the right doctor. You have to find the right, different professionals in your life. There's a lot of hairdressers out there. There's a lot of doctors out there. There's a lot of coaches out there.
Truth.
You can find one who you vibe with, who you can have the kind of relationship that you want to have.
Relationship is also incredibly important.
Yeah, and you can find the right dynamic sometimes, or like I don't know. I know some people who have had to shop around to find the right therapist.
Yeah.
That's normal.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone on my side of the aisle, on the coach's side, we understand that.
Yeah.
I am a great coach. I know that about myself.
Yeah.
Your denial of my services is not going to hurt me.
No.
I want you to make the change. And I may be the person for you, or I may not be the person for you. Just continue to look. That's totally fine.
It's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about relationship advice.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see about this one because we may have different opinions on this one. But my 28-year-old fiance. Wait, what? Okay.
Is it female?
No. Yes. My 28 female fiance, 28 male of 4 years doesn't think I'm attractive.
Wait, they're both 28.
They're both 28, male and female.
Engaged
of 4 years.
They've been together for 4 years.
They've been engaged for 4 years.
Oh boy.
Basically the title, but my fiance, who we'll call Dave, was at work and asked me to email him some documents from his laptop. I logged on and saw an open conversation between him and his friend Paul. They had mentioned my name. I was curious and wanted to see what they were talking about. Brackets. I know this is invading privacy, but my curiosity got the best of me.
We're only human.
Yeah, right? Paul messaged Dave about how he was more attracted to his wife's looks over her personality. I scrolled up and saw Dave had said he was more attracted to my personality than to my looks, and nearly broke up with me early in our relationship, but stopped himself because looks weren't the most important thing for him. I was devastated when I read those messages, as I had no idea my fiance thought I wasn't attractive. I waited for him to come home and told him that I found it. I apologized for looking at his computer, but I asked him if he still felt this way, and I told him I needed some space. Besides this, Dave and I have had issues, a few fights here and there, but nothing we couldn't get past together. Whilst looks aren't the biggest thing, his message made me doubt whether I'm an idiot for going back to him or if I should break the engagement and go another way. I hope this is enough information as I've never posted before, and any advice would be greatly appreciated. Wow.
That's really heavy.
What do you think about that?
I think that this has the potential to become a little bit volatile for them.
Yeah.
I would get a couples counselor.
Yeah.
And have mediated conversations. Especially because they're at a serious point in their relationship anyway.
That's what I was going to say.
I think I would have somebody professional involved.
You could be.
Who can just help guide your conversations, help you say what you mean to say.
Yeah. Just because this is such an explosive topic.
Yeah.
What's so interesting is I've made statements kind of like that to you. You know what I mean?
No.
I think that you're incredibly attractive, both
Thanks.
physically and mentally,
Well,
right?
thank you.
But I am definitely more impacted by your personality than I am by your looks.
I feel the same way.
And
I think you're very attractive.
But I think that has a reflection on the person. I've always been more attracted to
the person that you are is more important to me than what you look like.
Exactly.
I also think you're very attractive.
Right.
But if you looked exactly like you do and I was attracted to you, but you were like a total airhead, I probably wouldn't have married you.
That's my thing.
And that's just me.
But there's a level of attraction that I think is deeper than physical appearance.
We're both going to get old and saggy at some point.
I will also say, as we've continued to grow together and I've continued to learn more about your personality, I have become more attracted to you, both mentally and physically.
Well, and I think the message that he had sent was, when we first started dating, I wasn't sure if I was attracted to her, but and so that was at least 4 years ago, if not more. He might have, his feelings in that regard might have changed. He might find her much more attractive now than he used to.
I am tempted to say that this was a message that he never expected you to see. When you're discussing with your boys, you may say stuff that in context of the discussion with the other person, you may not intend it to be as hurtful as it is, right? But someone from an outside perspective who doesn't know your relationship with the other person could see that and say, wow, this is a devastating message, right? I have had moments like that where people are just shooting the breeze and maybe I overhear something and I put my own spin on it. We do this all the time. We put intention and we put meaning behind words that maybe are not as deep as we think they are.
Yeah. I think she was definitely hurt by this, so I think it's important that they talk about it and
I
figure it
think
out.
they are.
But he might have just meant, she wasn't my type at first, and so I almost moved along, but I was like, well, no, I really like her personality, so even though she's not my usual type, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That might be all it was.
I think that's why, I don't know if they're at the level of counselor yet. This seems to me like kind of a minor issue, and I may be speaking out of turn and putting my own personal spin on this, but I don't really care. She may care more than I do is the thing.
I think the fact that she needed space from it and is considering breaking up.
Well, she went and lived with her parents for a couple of days.
Right. That to me is, let's get a professional involved because we've got a major issue here.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I think if it were us, it wouldn't be like that.
And that's the thing.
If I overheard you say to one of your friends, yeah, she wasn't really my type when we first started dating, but we kept with it because we had great conversations and now I'm really attracted to her. And that, it wouldn't really bother me.
Right. But again, our context of our relationship may be different from theirs.
Yeah.
And it could be that, again, she may put a lot more emphasis on looks than personality.
Yeah.
So for her to hear this said, she may then put her own spin or her own thoughts on it and say, wow, I could never be with someone who I was more attracted to their personality than their looks. He definitely doesn't want to be with me. This is what we do. We put
our own coloring onto what we hear.
Not wrong, say. But part of the human condition.
Right.
Exactly.
But I think the fact that it impacted her so much. Yeah. That's the reason that I think it would be worthwhile to pursue some sort of counselor or mediator, an uninvolved third party.
I get that.
Who is not biased in either of your directions and just can kind of help be there
to
help you have that argument and help you have that communication, I think would be really important because, this is the kind of thing that if you don't air it out,
it can fester.
It's gonna stay, and if you do get married, it's just gonna always be there.
Yeah, she's always gonna have that little bit of anxiety.
Right, and then when you're, 60, and you're not feeling like, anymore. I've got crow's feet and my hair's starting to go gray, you can think about this comment that you saw when you were 28, and it can really just, I think, become.
I agree with you.
Resurface almost.
I am. In my opinion, it does not seem to be that big of a deal for me. But again, I'm putting my own personal bias on things. Yeah. Right. So for her, it could be a huge deal. Right. But this seems to me like I saw something I shouldn't have seen. can you explain your thinking to me a little bit?
Yeah.
And then if you guys have,
it hurt when I read it, it hurt me. And I just want to know what's you meant.
Up? Exactly. Like, is there more context to this? Can you discuss with it? He could have meant, I like her personality more than her
I'm
looks.
attracted to both, but the personality was really what sealed the deal for me.
Exactly. So he could, and
it could be that.
Again, communication is very important here. But I think you have a valid point in that one wrong move or one wrong phrase could set this off even worse.
Yeah.
So it may be important to have somebody who can kind of repackage and redefine the words that are coming out of people's mouths.
I think when you're going through something that you feel like is really heavy, it can be helpful and charged. It can be helpful to have, like I said, an unbiased, impartial third party there.
I think that's very valid.
Help you pump the brakes, help you think through things in a way that, or consider things in a way that maybe you wouldn't have. I think it's really common for people to take things better from someone else rather than someone who they like really know.
Yep.
Like I
somebody
don't know.
outside of the situation.
Just yesterday, somebody at work told me, yeah, you know, I was telling my sister, you really should start using a walker. You know, these are older people, and she just wouldn't listen to me. She kept doing things in this very unsafe way. So I went to the doctor with her, and the doctor said, hey, you should really start using a walker. We bought a walker on the way home from the doctor's office.
That is 100%
Sometimes
what
it's
happens.
just got to be somebody else who's a professional, who's wearing a white coat to say the same thing that you've been saying.
I mean, we've all been teenagers. We've all heard great advice from our parents that we've thought has been the worst thing we've ever heard.
And then like your teacher tells you.
Or some authority figure that you actually think is cool.
Or your friend's mom tells you. Or like, yeah, I should eat.
That's a great idea.
I should eat more healthy food. Or, you know, and your mom's like, well,
it's the human tendency. Again, it's like we become so comfortable with the people that we normally talk to that sometimes it can become noise. What the advice that they give or even a general conversation, and it helps to have somebody detached from the situation to give advice.
Or it's like, you know, you say something and like he responds about what that comment really was intended to say and you don't hear it. And then the counselor says, I think what he's meaning is exactly. And it's the same message, but it might be received in a different way.
Yeah.
So I think that's a value of having somebody else and a professional person involved.
Truth. Agreed.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they get it sorted. I you know, this is from a long time ago. I sorted by best of the month. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they got it figured out.
Yeah. One way or another, I hope they do. And you know. I
mean, either way, you got to, if you can get past it, or you've got to.
Or if it's not right, then it's not right.
You got anything else for us today? I'm pretty good.
I don't think so. You are?
Yeah. I mean, we started running.
Yeah.
I guess I started running. You haven't started running yet.
It's Sundays that I'm supposed to run with you, and it's rained every single Sunday.
And the pollen is terrible right now.
Like the last 3 Sundays, it's rained. And it's supposed to rain again tomorrow.
But I mean, maybe we'll get one in. I've been running in the gym on Wednesdays.
And you love it.
Good. I don't love it.
You got home on Wednesday and you're like, I feel energized.
I did feel energized from it, which is interesting because I'm not running very difficult. I'm doing like 2-minute runs and 1-minute rest intervals for like 6 times. So it's super basic, super easy stuff. And I think what's really interesting is a lot of people who tell me like exercise is my stress relief. My context of exercise is never stress relief because I train so hard and in a context that is like, it is a stressor to my body that I never get that stress relieving aspect of exercise. Whereas the runs are a little bit easier, a little bit lower impact. I'm starting to feel that like stress relief. Oh, I want to go for a run just to relieve some stress. Now,
I'm
incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
So as I get better at running, I'm probably going to push myself to the point where I'm starting to break down physically because that's just my tendency. But for right now,
you take everything to the limit.
I really do.
You do.
Which is why I burn out on stuff so fast. Yeah. Like I go through hobbies, like 3 weeks, I will go full bore, like light of the sun.
Hours a day.
And then never touch it again for
like 6 months. And it comes back around.
It does cycle. Like this happened with chess last year.
You've been through 2 chess cycles now. Dude, I think you're due for another one.
It's kind of, I can feel it bubbling up. But last like winter, I was watching chess content, playing chess all the time, and I burnt out on it. Like January came around, not really into chess, but it'll come back.
It's about to come back.
It's just, but that's why I think I can truly say that I love the gym is because I've never had a cycle. Like I've had down times in the gym,
Yes.
but I've still wanted to partake in that activity.
Yeah. The longest that you ever took off, I think you took like a week or 2 off after your competition.
Yeah. And towards the end of that week, I was like, it's time.
Yeah.
Time to get back to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's the one
when
thing
you
you've
find
not-
things like that really just are in your life for the long haul, that's, I think, a great sign to be like, this is something that I really enjoy doing, that I want to make a focal point of my life forever. Like, I think I'll be in the gym forever. I don't know what the future holds, but it's some form of training will be a part of my life forever.
Yeah.
I just don't know who I am without it.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental part of my identity now.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think that's great.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. 11 episodes down. Go check out the older episodes from when we first did the podcast. There's some interesting stuff in there. Like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you to all the new people that are subscribing to the channel. We've been having a ton of new people come along. We hope you enjoy the content.
You're here.
Comment. We want to really build a community, especially around the podcast. So if you have any questions, relationship advice, fitness advice, random life stuff, we would love to hear from you. Go ahead and comment down below. Any final words for the people?
Have a great week, everyone.
Have an excellent week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.